Good afternoon, everyone. It's been an exhilarating day since morning. All of us have spoken about healthcare, about AI, about innovation, profitability. I'm sure sleep is sinking in for all of you. So it's a very, very bad slot for me to talk about things. But I'll definitely try to make it slightly interesting and would love to keep it Q&A. Maybe I'll quickly talk about us. I mentioned briefly in the morning who we are. W Health Ventures is a $100 million fund investing in both US and India and now in the Middle East region. And 2070 Health is a venture studio wherein we incubate companies from scratch, again, both in US and India. And now we are expanding in the Middle East region and would love to partner with all of you in some shape and form. I will quickly cover some parts of the slides and essentially, healthcare in India is a very, very huge market, $400 billion, expected to be $1 trillion by 2030. 400 million Indians who have adopted digital health thanks to COVID, the only flip side of the pandemic. 400 plus digital health companies have been invested in with $4 billion, essentially minted 7 unicorns. I think that says a lot about what the space has to offer, but I think we're just scratching the surface. What we see is the first wave of healthcare innovation, which most countries go through. There are a couple of themes that emerge out of it. First is, digitization of existing workflows or solutions. I want to order medicine, can I buy it online? I want to see a doctor, can I see the doctor virtually? That's what the first wave of innovation is, which is digitization of existing workflows. The second trend that we have seen, and we spoke about this afternoon as well, hospitals want to partner with more and more digital health solutions. They're also starting their own innovation teams, strategy teams, which are looking at new age solutions that can address the people problems. And third trend that we have seen in India, at least, is emergence of single specialty companies across IVF, diabetes, eye care, things that can be done outside of the large hospital setup, can be set up in a retail format. So those are things that we have seen at least in India, and I'll talk about some similarities in the Middle East region. There has never been a better time to build healthcare companies, is what we strongly feel. But there are still many, many challenges. Quality, private health insurance penetration in India as low as 3%, 80% doctors being in urban areas, and 27% adults suffer with some chronic disease or the other. I think those are things which allow us to see that there are multiple white spaces in healthcare in India, and they are unattempted. And the real question is, why are these problem statements unattempted? And what can we do? Healthcare building is hard, and I think across the panels we spoke about this. It's a multiple stakeholder industry, and we can see that in the room today. There's doctors, there are healthcare operators, there are digital health companies, there are VCs, consulting firms, so on and so forth. It's a multi-stakeholder kind of industry and requires incentive alignment, which is always hard. It is relationship driven. Making distribution for a new entrant is always hard in healthcare. It is trust driven. A patient will not trust a new healthcare startup. A patient will always trust their doctor whom they have been seeing for multiple decades. It is regulated, and rightly so. It's about people's life and death. It has to be regulated. It is regulated, which makes it slightly more difficult for people to make a dent in. Another important aspect is just the talent. The innovation landscape in healthcare is fairly new, and hence the number of people who are making an attempt at it is very, very low right now. The talent ecosystem needs to really scale up for us to change the industry together. And lastly, it requires patient capital. That's needless to say. We can't scale up healthcare in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year like a fintech or an e-commerce company. It takes 7 to 8 years to actually start making an impact. Quickly talking about Middle East, I think same problem statements, large market expected to grow 1.5x to $31 billion in 5 years. Same NCD problem statements as far as patients are concerned. Diabetes, hypertension, obesity, depression, chronic pain. These are some spaces that we have seen to be wreaking a havoc on the population of the region. Again, drawing another similarity, $250 million have been invested in UAE only in health tech funding, but the type of companies that have seen investments are actually limited. If you see, these are the same first wave of innovation type of companies. Telemedicine, insurtech, e-pharmacy. What it means is that there is an opportunity to create clinical first single specialty models which can come out of hospitals and make a dent on people's lives. Essentially, what I want to summarize this section is, and then move to the more interesting parts of this slide deck, is that there are lots of similarities in what we see in India and US, where we currently operate, and the Middle East region, where we're just starting up. Both are large, rapidly expanding markets with a lot of investments that have happened in secondary and tertiary care, very little investment in early stage healthcare. Both are witnessing initial phases of innovation. All countries go through the same journey. That first wave of innovation happens, and then 2-3 years later, the second wave of healthcare innovation happens. We have seen the second wave already happening in US and China. We are trying to make some of those investments in India now, and also rapidly expanding in the MENA region. And lastly, the talent ecosystem, as I said, is fairly shallow and nascent, and we need to do something about it. But favorable dynamics exist. Just like the US, the reimbursement ecosystem in the MENA region is very, very well set, especially in UAE, where 90% plus insurance coverage, and Saudi Arabia is also moving in that direction. So very, very favorable for healthcare startups and digital health companies to make a mark. And I think existing healthcare infrastructure lays a very, very solid foundation. As I mentioned in the morning, 154 odd hospitals in just UAE, and 40, maybe a couple of thousand beds getting added every now and then. So we have a very, very solid healthcare infrastructure and distribution created. What we need to do is now just bring about innovation, which I feel we want to at least give an attempt at. The question that we always ask ourselves: can we help build the future of healthcare in India and the Middle East by addressing the challenges that hinder innovation and address these clinical white spaces? And what we have, and maybe quickly covering who we are and how we take on this mammoth task of changing the lives of patients. So we are India's first healthcare venture studio. What we do, we institutionalize the healthcare venture building process. We conduct deep diligence on impactful and futuristic concepts. We launch companies with extraordinary founders, and we de-risk all the failure points that exist in early stage healthcare building and power it with an innovation platform, which I'll shortly talk about. What it does is it brings repeatability in the ecosystem. It brings repeatability in the venture building process. We learn from our first company and don't make the same mistakes. Then learn from the first two ventures and take it to the third venture, and so on and so forth. We don't want to make the same mistakes in our every subsequent venture. There is a certain element of playbooks that we are bringing onto the table. What we want to do is create 10 to 15 meaningful healthcare companies that can change 1 billion lives. And what we know is we can't do it alone. We need support from all the partners in the ecosystem, be it operators, be it funds, be it labs and diagnostic companies, be it doctors, everyone in the room today, we would need their support. What exactly we do, I'll just quickly cover the institutionalizing of healthcare venture building, how we do it, what does it entail. Essentially start with idea generation. Ideas are dime a dozen, but understanding what the current patient pain point is and how can we solve for it is what takes us at least 4 to 6 months of work. We research on every concept for 4 to 6 months, understand what the patient pain point is, what the doctor pain point is there a demand side problem, is there a supply side problem? And if yes, can we bring either a first to market solution or a 10x better solution to the market? Only then we have a right to win. So that's what we do in the ideation phase. In the launch phase, we fund the company, we put the first check, we build out the team, we launch the ventures and help them achieve product market fit, do several experiments, both clinical and non-clinical, go to market, marketing, so on and so forth. And in the final stage, we help these companies scale and raise external capital when there's proof point that they will actually make a large mark into the ecosystem. What is the innovation platform that does all of this? So what we bring is a set of IP and teams that have done this over and over again. So research, I spoke about. Marketing, what sort of experiments, what should be your customer acquisition cost, what should be the right messaging, branding, so on and so forth. Talent, I'll quote a number that most of you will not believe. In the last 18 months, we have sourced 68,000 candidates for healthcare in India. These are across your product managers, associate, research people, as well as founders. So we are creating the largest healthcare ecosystem in India, and also now very rapidly expanding into the Middle East region. We've probably spoken to 200 odd people in the Middle East already for healthcare. We think about growth, clinical, everything that we do is clinical. We don't want to replace the clinician. We actually want to work closely with the clinicians. None of our solutions actually replaces a doctor. So these are the teams that bring repeatability to the process. And what we are proposing, this is like the final, I would say, final climax of the deck, what we want to build in the Middle East region. What we are starting is 2070 Health MENA. It's one operating platform that will create multiple service lines across several disease areas. This is diabetes, obesity, mental health, pediatric care. These are problem statements that we have identified exist here, and we already have some of the portfolio companies in India, in US, and we can contextualize them and bring them to the region. And we'll also do some de novo research and think about companies which don't exist in our portfolio. It could be across respiratory care, it's across nephrology, andrology, and some other spaces. We also have, in addition, some boring businesses like clinical staffing. 92% of all clinical workforce in the region is actually not from here. It's expats from India, from Philippines, and so on and so forth. So we have a staffing company. We also have a healthcare IT services company. I was telling someone at lunch, we have an IT services company which has a chief medical officer. It's unheard of because we want to keep the clinician perspective at the core of what we are building. So all this happens under one platform. And as I keep saying, there's not been a better time to build for healthcare in the region. And what is exciting about this platform? There's profitability from day one. These are concepts that exist in our portfolio. They have been tested out, and hence we feel we can quickly launch them by contextualizing them in the region. There's capital efficiency. I think we, as a VC, I don't know if capital efficiency is a word that suits me, but markets have changed, and hence we do think about capital efficiency a lot. Can we use the same platform layer? Can we use the same set of people and create ventures which are more return on capital employed friendly? The speed of launch, we have launched the company in India in 60 days post our IC approval. We want to make sure we do it here as well. Can we launch companies faster? And because there's repeatability, because there are playbooks, we feel strongly that we can launch companies very, very quickly. These are de-risked healthcare concepts. As I said, these have been used by 20 million plus people so far in our portfolio, both in US and India. And hence, the product market fit journey is going to be much shorter. We'll just short circuit it and launch them. And lastly, there's diversification with depth. The platform owns 100% of all these ideas, which means that there's an opportunity to create multi-million-dollar opportunity across each of these business verticals. And at the platform level, we feel we can do like $1 billion opportunity here. I'll quickly talk about some of the concepts that exist. I spoke about the innovation framework in the morning, clinical innovation, business model innovation, technological innovation. These are some ventures that we've started from scratch. Elevate Now, India's first medical weight loss program that combines doctor-led coaching, pharmacotherapy, and lifestyle interventions, uses drugs like Ozempic, Mounjaro, and also older generation drugs for medical weight loss. We have seen sustainable results of 10 to 12% in our patients so far. Nivan is an asset-light pain management clinic, deals with MSK pain, chronic back, neck, knee. It also does minimally invasive procedures, which does not require hospitalization and is insurance covered. Very, very high propensity for us to launch these solutions in the country today. BabyMD is a pioneering modern outpatient pediatrics chain of clinics. It provides everything that a child needs, from vaccine to OPD consults to well baby tests to as comprehensive and difficult problem statements like behavioral health, allergies, asthma, and a 24/7 AI co-pilot. Your child is crying at 2 in the night, you don't know what to do, you rush them to an emergency. We don't want that to happen. We want you to reach out to the AI co-pilot, understand the problem statement, and then the AI will help you. And lastly, the IT services company that I spoke about. I'll not bore you through all these slides. We have investments in diabetes, mental health, direct-to-consumer sexual health, good health company, and then parenting. Milo is the largest parenting platform in the region today with 9 million parents using it. Peer-to-peer community support, D2C products as light touch as diapers and as comprehensive as postpartum depression, postpartum weight loss. We also have some more portfolio companies in oncology, cardiometabolic care, so on and so forth. And what we are proposing is that we will bring about some of this innovation into the region. but not directly. We will contextualize them. We will understand what the region needs, and then we will create new age solutions. And just to give you a very, very quick example of mental health, again, I was talking to someone this afternoon. We have Visa in our portfolio, which is a mental health AI company, has had 1 billion conversations so far. And this is an AI company which started 7 years back, where ChatGPT was not spoken about. Can Visa be launched in the region? The answer is no. The region is not open to do only conversations to an emotionally intelligent chatbot. What we need is a full stack mental health solution, talk therapy, psychiatry, AI support. So we will use the same technology, but add multiple layers and start a mental health related company in the region. So that's pretty much it. From my side, all healthcare innovators, doctors, operators, entrepreneurs would love to collaborate, and please do reach out to me on the sidelines for any questions. And thanks for listening patiently. And if there are any questions, happy to take them. Thank you.